Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'd like to welcome you to my article review. I'll have an afternoon and evening edition. So, before I start the article, I'd like to let you know the purpose of this review is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property, which belongs to the publisher, which in this case is the Daily Caller. Okay? And the story by Michaela Burrow. I pronounced the person's name right. Now to the article. Headline reads: Mysterious buyers gobbling up land near major Air Force base have been revealed. Now they're doing damage control. Here we can see pictured is a this is copyright photo by Justin Sullivan by way of Getty Images of the KC-10 refueling tankers. Now, tech industry investors revealed to be behind a multi-year scheme to buy up land in rural area of California near a major U.S. Air Force base are racing to gain support for a peculiar urban construction project, the New York Times reported Tuesday. Silicon Valley moguls invested nearly $900 million buying up acres of farmland in Solano County, often far above the market price, under a firm named Flannery Associates with hopes of constructing a utopia-like city on the area, according to the New York Times. Now the executives must beguile local entities as well as lawmakers and federal agencies who spent months or years seeking to identify the personalities behind Flannery and roll out prospects' nefarious intent into supporting the expansive project. Well, because I am doing a review, it's interesting it took that long to find out who's the owner of this land. Now, the other thing I'm curious about is this person's name is that a shell name, Flannery, or is that the real the person's name, as in the last name of the person? We'll find out later what the truth is. In 2017, Jan Schramek, a former Goldman Sachs trader, pitched an idea to build a walkable California metropolis that could produce thousands of jobs and serve as sort of petri dish for new designs, construction, and forms of governance. The New York Times, or the NYT, reported citing three people familiar with the matter. Big-name tech investors, including LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, investors Mark Anderson, and Chris Dixon, and billionaire venture capitalist Michael Moritz, among others. Until late August, Flannery's executives and business plan were unclear. Neither is why they opted to remain anonymous. Well, that's another suspicious thing. Why are they remaining anonymous? If what they're doing is so public that they want people to be, then why are they remaining anonymous? So he said, we got the FBI, Treasury involved. Democratic California Representative John Garamendi, who learned of Flannery's identity only after being contacted by the New York Times, told the outlet. The representative had recently reached out to him to set up a meeting. The Air Force Department of Agriculture and Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, or that would be CTILS, all launched investigations. Theories abounded, including whether the land would house new wind farms, Newport, or a Chinese firm influence operations. See, whereas they suspect something nefarious. Flannery previously told Solano County it owned a group of families looking to diversify their portfolio from equities into real assets, including agricultural land on the western United States, the Wall Street Journal reported in July. Garamendi and the Democratic Representative Mike Thompson devoted 4 years trying to suss out the company's identity after Solana locals began to grow suspicious, according to the New York Times. Well, I couldn't find anything, Garamendi said. Now Flannery has hired political consultants to deal with conflicts that might arise as it seeks to break ground on new development, according to the New York Times. I reached out to supervisors, the governor's office, and members of Congress in recent days. A street sign stands near a parcel of land that was recently purchased over Rio Vista, California. Photo by Justin Sullivan getting images. We'll also have to get permission from Solana County residents, likely appealing them to cast votes overturning the county's slow growth ordinance, according to the New York Times. On the outskirts of the Bay Area, Solana was comparatively low income, consisting of ranchers, farmers, and blue collar workers who fled the high costs of living in places like nearby San Francisco. Sramnick declined to comment to the New York Times. Quote, "We are excited to start working with Solana County residents and elected officials as well as with the Travis Air Force Base," a spokesperson for the investors previously told the outlet. Flannery purchased at least 20 parcels of lands surround Travis Air Force Base, known as, quote, "the gateway to the Pacific," unquote, and home to a unit plays a major role in facilitating global U.S. military transport. And as their disclaimer, they say all content created by Daily Center News Foundation, an independent, nonpartisan newswire service, is available without any charge to any legitimate news publisher that can provide a large audience. All republished articles must include our logo, reporter's byline, and their DCNF affiliation for any questions. So I'm not going to republish it. I'm just reviewing what's already in the public. That's two different things. Okay, that's it. Very much two different things. Now, it says, for any questions regarding partnering with us, please contact licensing at dailycallnewsfoundation.org. Once something's put out in the public domain, it's fair game for people to talk about, read about. Just they can't take credit for the intellectual property. That's the main thing. So that's what it is. As you can see here. Okay. Republish articles. Now, I'm not creating an article, I'm just doing a review of an article. Two different things. Now, let's talk about the second article here. Now, before I say read the article, I'd like to let you know this is for review, information, and educational purposes. It's not to take credit for the intellectual property. Credit for the intellectual property goes to the publisher, which is We Are the Mighty, WATM, studied by Miguel Ortiz. Now to the article. Headline reads, "The futuristic plane would be the Air Force's next tanker." Since the dawn of the jet age, commercial planes have changed very little, although engines have become more efficient, allowing the use of two where four used to be. The tube and wing design remains constant. Advanced composite materials help to reduce weight, but the fact remains that every servant of modern aircraft produces lift. Jet Zero aims to change all this with its blended wing body, which the Air Force recently showed interest in. And here you see a picture of it. This is copyright provided by We Are the Mighty, WATM, Jet Zero aircraft. Also, we have a second picture, which is the same thing, copyrighted by the same people. And it says 50% less fuel range with the same payload. And the third one is by the same people as well. This is looks like a refuel. I have this correct as a refuel. And for the fourth one, same one. It says copyrighted. We are the mighty WATM. And this is BWB Air Force tanker. The purpose is for in-air refuel, air refueling. So basically, go up in the air and they refuel other planes. Okay. On August 16, 2023, the Air Force selected Jet Zero for the next phase of its blended wing body prototype aircraft, aiming to mature BWB technology for future development. The prototype will demonstrate the efficiency and viability of the blended wing design over tube and wing. Blended wing body aircraft have the potential to reduce demand and increase global reach significantly, said the Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall in a public affairs release. and he said, moving forces and cargo quickly, efficiently, and over long distance is a critical capability to enable national security strategy. Here you see the photo that we just mentioned. I just mentioned. The blended wing concept is not new. However, modern advances such as structural design, materials, and technology and manufacturing have made large-scale production more feasible. By blending the body and tail of the aircraft and its wings, the BWB increases efficiency without sacrificing cargo capacity. In fact, the fuselage provides more room for things like hydrogen tanks that could be used to power future aircraft engines. Until then, modern off-the-shelf engines could be used without further modifications on the BWB. With its improved efficiency and carrying capacity, the BWB is an attractive candidate for a future Air Force tanker. The KC-135 Strato tanker, developed from Boeing's first jetliner, has been in service since the 1950s. Its replacement, the KC-46 Pegasus, is based on the Boeing 767, which first flew in 1981. He said, "It's been a little bit over 100 years since a few brave airmen took the skies and proved the first era of refueling capability, extending the global reach to our Air Force," said Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Energy, Installations and Environment, Dr. Ravi Chaudhry. For some reason, it sounds familiar. In a Service Public Affairs release, he said, "This announcement marks another game-changing milestone for the Air Force in our efforts to maintain the advantage of air power effectiveness against any future competitors." Notice how they say competitors and not enemy. Interesting selection of words. Under the fiscal year of 2023 National Defense Authorization Act, the DoD plans to invest $235 million in the BWB technology over the next 4 years. With its potential to save airlines money and operating costs, additional investment is expected from private companies. Air Force is collaborating with NASA and the Defense Innovation Unit, while Jet Zero collaborated with the likes of MIT, Stanford, and USC. The BWB competitor is expected to take flight in 2027. Well, very interesting partnership with some top universities. Let's go on to a third article. Before I read this third article, I'd like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property. The full credit for the intellectual property goes to the publisher, which in this case is Daily Express US. A story by Liam Doyle and Jacob Paul. And now to the article. Russian airport up in flames as Putin territory hit by major overnight bombing blitz. Here you can see actually a video which I will watch later after this. At the time of this recording, right after this recording, I'll watch this. The shocking aftermath of a major overnight blitz on a Russian airport has been laid bare in the new video. Russian media reported this morning that a drone attack damaged the airport, Sykov, a city to the country's northwest this morning. The TASS news agency initially reported emergency service estimations that 4 Ilyushin 76 military transport planes were damaged by the blast, with 2 having burst into flames. Quote, into flames, unquote. Regional Governor Mikhail Varikov said officials have deployed military personnel to repel the attack. He said, quote, the defense ministry is repelling a drone attack on Sykov. airport. Let's see the next one here. These are some pictures. The governor claimed to be at the scene of the attack, added that there were no reported victims. He added in his Telegram post, according to the preliminary information, there are no victims. Video footage that surfaced on social media showed thick black smoke pouring into the air over the airport, as residents report hearing loud explosions and gunshots. Ukraine was accused of launching drones against targets in 6 Russian regions overnight. It's quite ironic, right? They're not allowed to launch strikes, but Russians are allowed to launch strikes. Okay, that's an interesting theory. Just my take on it, though. Russia's defense minister said the drones are also downed in the regions of Orlov, Bryansk, Kazan, Kaluga, and a region surrounding the capital. Drones have been raining down on Moscow and the surrounding region on a near daily basis as the Russian president's bloody war moves on to his own end. That's a very bad sign. If you're supposedly winning the war, like I've heard from different commentators, shall we put it, I won't say the source of it because I'm not trying to give them any more publicity. Basically, they're claiming that Russia's winning the war. Well, if your opposition is going and bombing into your territory, it probably means you're not winning the war. Because for one, you would stop them from bombing. It wouldn't even pass the border to be shot down. Good for thought. But the strikes on Wednesday could be the biggest since Putin's conflict began. It comes after Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky warned he would take the fight to Russia. He said following the drone attack in July, quote, gradually the war is returning to the territory of Russia, whose symbolic centers and military bases is inevitable, natural, and absolutely fair process. Well, that's what war is, so what can I say? According to Michael Birakow, global affairs analyst and senior fellow of the Atlantic Council, the quote, shocking ease at which Ukrainian drones can penetrate Russian air defenses has exposed the quote, sorry state, unquote. He told Daily Express US, quote, that the drones are able to so easily and frequently penetrate what's meant to be the most heavily protected airspace in Russia, says plenty about the weaknesses of their air defenses. So it's quite shocking, but then again, the lack of preparedness and general incompetency of the Russian forces at the start of the war revealed the sorry state of the Putin war machine. So, those are your 3 articles. Now, before I conclude the video, I'd like to pose a question to you. What do you think of these 3 articles? Namely, the first one, which is mysterious fires gobbling up land near major Air Force base have been revealed, now in damage control. Number 2, futuristic that the Air Force, that could be the Air Force's next tanker. And number 3, Russian airport up in flames as Putin's territory hit by a major overnight bombing blitz. Okay, so what do you think of those 3 articles? Are they good articles? Are they informative? Do you think that they provided enough information? Let me know your assessment. You're welcome to give your opinion below in the comments section. Just keep in mind that we have a couple common sense grounds. Number 1, no threatening behavior, as that's illegal and also counterproductive to what we're doing here, as that is not the point. Number 2, no derogatory language, as we're trying to keep this respectful and constructive. Okay? Remember that the purpose of commenting in the comment below is for constructive ideas. Even if it be constructive criticism, the point is to add something positive to this, not detract and make it negative. Do you understand? Okay. With that in mind, I'd like to thank you for watching this article. I'm planning on having an evening edition, so anyway, I've quite the full day this week, so 4 days. I will do my best to have an evening edition. Okay? Now, Please click like on the video as it provided value and you're able to see the news as of what's happening in the world these days, especially as of late. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. That way you'll have access to all my videos on this channel as I have a variety of different content, everything from IT certification, news, to actual video gaming. And I'm planning on having more content, so more courses, etc. So go ahead and yeah, click subscribe so you'll have access to all those videos. In addition to that, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. I would again like to thank you for watching the video. I do appreciate it. I'd like to wish you a great day where you are, no matter where you are in the world. Take care, and I'll hopefully talk to you this evening. Take care, and bye.